and welcome. I'm your not so humble game master TJ, and this is Dice of Ages, presenting CrestVahllen, The Baker's Dozen, episode 39, Ushered, Homeward. Without further ado, let's get into the recap of the previous episode. Tumbling out onto the deck of the Panbringer, the Baker's Dozen compose themselves and, over lunch, learn that the gloves gifted to Tammy are made of two calves leather, indigenous to inland regions of the Northern Dynasty. The crew continue their travel to Longdeck as Macheni and a scoop test the efficacy of the chartreuse slave blossom cure potion, positively concluding that it exponentially accelerates the Sakura's rate of decay. The rest of the crew press on, preventing weak winds from hindering their trek, before resting for the evening. On the 39th of Hylock, a misty fog surrounds the ship, as a ghostly galley pulls up alongside the Panbringer. Macheni senses the presence of undead, while Nakano feels the attendance of restless spirits longing for peace. A gossamer voice rolls upon the wind, cryptic and beckoning, as members of the party board the ghostly vessel cautiously. It's gleaned that the ship would have been active during the wars between the Northern and Southern Dynasty, as the ethereal spirits aboard speak of an oath of combat, but try to direct the party to methods that would release them from their everlasting bond. This urge for battle is tenuously stifled by Tamrin's diplomacy, before a weird flame in the crow's nest is pointed out, and a translucent skeletal arm is tossed into one of the eerie dinghies by its owner. Now, let's get back to the action. Welcome back to CrestVahllen. Hello and welcome back. Dice of Ages, Baker's Dozen, not so humble game master TJ. Last we left off, well, actually we're in creepy, aren't we?
The guy threw his arm in.
We'll do tension a little bit.
Dinghy.
Yeah.
And
Put the
Tamron's
thing in a
like,
dinghy.
all right.
yeah, Tamron was like, all right. So they pointed to, with their arm and their sword still holding onto it, to the flame, and then threw their arm with it still holding steadfast onto the sword into one of the dinghies that's kind of dilapidated and askew off to that's hanging off the side of the ghost ship.
I'm guessing we gotta destroy that thing.
Well, let me just
Put out
that's
the fire.
I mean, if they could talk, they probably would have.
They have been. Hey, what was that all about? That was kind of strange.
You asked them that?
Yeah, I'm trying the casual, chummy approach.
You rolled.
They just look at you like they look at you with this like pained expression on the face, like, come on, man. Like that's like the most they can muster.
I'm gonna
As
try.
they're still like fighting themselves from being aggressive.
Can my prestidigitation like work to try to put the flame out? Is that too far away? Like, is there a?
I believe your prestidigitation
Yeah.
has like a range of like 10 feet.
How
Do I
far is
have
the flame?
prestidigitation?
Something like,
I do, right.
How far is it?
Come on, on my.
how far is it? I would say it's as far as your crow's nest is up there. So I think somewhere between like 60 to 80
that's
feet
right.
up there, something like that.
Yeah.
I can have 5 cantrips,
5,
right?
10, 15, 20,
From
25,
our
30,
position,
40,
60 to 80 feet.
something like six,
So just-
somewhere around there, around the 60 foot mark,
Okay.
Okay.
maybe.
Yeah, it's
Maybe-
too far
maybe
away
taller.
for me to druid craft to snuff out the
But not
fire.
from. That's if you were standing like.
Oh, it's
right
it's
below.
10 feet.
Yeah.
So how far would it be from where I am?
Well, you are not on that ship. You're on your ship, so probably more than that. If you want me to actually calculate the hypotenuse, I will. But it is more than 60 feet from you. I would say.
Okay.
I would, if you want a ballpark, maybe 80 or more.
All right.
You blew it out.
You trying to blow it out? What are you guys doing? This looks like they are using quite a bit of their effort to subdue some sort of like oath of aggression that they have. You're not sure how long they can sustain that.
Yeah, you like reassure and be like, it's okay. We're not gonna fight you. We want to help.
Their expressions, as I've said before, as far as their insight and everything, they look pained. They don't want to do this, but they're holding themselves back. But you don't know how long they're going to be able to hold themselves back.
Yeah.
I wonder what the father's duty was exactly.
Right.
Is
A
it
father's
to-
duty, a captain's charge. What rest we seek, a flaming barge, or the flaming
To
barge.
search for something? Is it to protect something? Like maybe we can ask. I mean, I don't. Clearly,
Did I just sleet storm again?
I guess I'll ask, what is your oath?
how can we help?
Yeah. Can we help you fulfill your oath?
Okay. They. So, although the individual who had flung their hand out and pointed towards the flame and then pointed towards and then threw their arm into the dinghy, they continue to point. They never stopped pointing at the flame. There is another individual who tries to do the same thing and snaps off their arm and then lets it unfold and roll as the arm that's holding the blade also unfolds and rolls, and then the blade levels, pointing in a direction what looks like possibly the captain's cabin.
The captain's cabin?
Yeah.
Maybe their duty was to fill the dinghy with arm.
Arms?
Maybe they needed to be armed, and that's why, and they failed at being armed, and now they're throwing.
I will say, like, their arm didn't become skeletal until they, like, snapped it off, and then it became this ethereal skeletal thing. It was before, and then they just looked like as if they were living before, and then until they, like, snapped themselves off and got aggressive, did they start to look more like rotty, undead, zombie kind of skeletal type of thing. A Scoop, you still see those actual remains that are here that also are skeletal and mostly like bleached bones with rags upon them.
Should I just do sleet storm to take out?
I
the
would
flame?
say you guys, as I've said before, you guys are on a time limit here because you understand that they are using all of their willpower to try to not be aggressive with you, but you don't know how long that's going to last. So so if you're going to do something, it has to happen quickly.
I'm gonna lower the gangplank.
Okay.
Try to get
You
to the
connect the
captain's
two
cabin.
ships.
Yeah, let's go over there.
The sound it makes when it collides with the ethereal ship is just as if there was an actual ship there.
I'll cover you, Tammy.
Thank you. I can always magic door my way out of here if I need to.
That's true. Okay.
Okay, so Tammy boards the other ship,
I'm going with him to
as
help
well
revive
as
him.
Macheni.
Yeah. Still sticking my plan, going to Crow's Nest.
Okay, a Scoop is headed over as well. Nakano, are you?
I'll head over with the scoop.
Okay, so everyone heads over. Hurt is just kind of hiding behind the wheel, the helm. Like, I'm just gonna stay here. Make sure captain's on deck. You guys go ahead. I've had enough ghost stuff.
Thanks, Cap.
Fair.
That's a good idea. Someone's got to behind.
Yeah.
Aye, me too. Right, what she said. So you guys head on over. They are still, when you go over there, they're still facing you. Like, wherever you go, they're facing you and, like, and looking pained and, like, and trying not to pull their swords, or even they're kind of, like, half drawn, but fighting it.
Like
And
they're trying to
just
take a
all in
ship.
the same. They haven't moved. They're just pivoting as you move. They're stationary. A Scoop, you trying to climb up to the crow's nest?
Yeah, can I just take, like, I guess I don't want to do it. A body there? Because it's fire, I guess.
You want
Alright.
to grab like the remains of a
Yeah.
body that's on the ship and try to haul it up there with you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I mean, I'll say, it is a crow's nest, so it does have like pegs and other and like ladder and a way to get up there. But there is that part, like I had said before, where they're just missing. It's just not there, and the rest is just kind
Yeah.
of floating as if where it is. How would you like to tackle that gap? Because once
I
you can
have
grab like
Misty
a
Step,
skeletal
right?
thing, throw it over your shoulder, and try to bring it up, and parts of it fall off, but you get most of it.
I have Misty
You can-
Step, right?
Somebody with you.
I don't know. Do you?
I do. I'm just saying, like,
It's not
am
a
I able to
cleric
bring the
spell, is it?
body? No, I got
Yes.
it through a feature
Oh, okay.
or a feat. What do you want?
No, it only bring. Well, it's an object, so it's not a creature. So yeah, probably.
Okay, we'll do that then.
Okay, you climb up the crow's nest and teleport the rest of the way once you reach the gap into the crow's nest. Yeah, and it's weird. You don't feel any heat coming from this flame. Well, maybe it likes coming in waves, but it's,
Are you able
it's
to
weird.
be able to stand up? Can you stand in that?
You're
Is
coming
it
going
even
in
there?
and out, Sean.
Sorry, is it? Can he stand? Guys, can a scoop stand there? Is it even like there?
It's good.
It's not. It doesn't take up the whole space of the crow's nest, but it is.
No, I
it's
mean
about-
like, can he stand on this crow's nest? Is it a physical place?
Yeah, you're
'Cause you couldn't
standing
climb on
on
the
the
thing.
ship that you are right now as well. You're standing on, and it's ethereal. Like you can see through into the hold and then the water below you from what you're standing on. It feels
okay.
physical, but it looks.
So the
translucent.
crow's nest is still there. There's just nothing in between the crow's nest and the mast.
Yeah, like a little like gap.
The crow's nest is at the very top of the mast.
No, I know.
So.
But you
there
said
is-
that like he couldn't climb up there because there was. That's
So
not
there's
there.
the mast goes up about 2/3 of the way before there's a break and there's a missing part of the mast, and then the mast continues the rest of the
I
way.
see. Okay.
And
Weird.
then there's the crow's nest.
Okay.
As if physically there was a mast there, but there's not. It's just the suggestion of what would be there. Like it's actually floating. The rest of the mast is kind of floating there, but as
Right.
if it would complete, but it's not. Like there's missing parts of a puzzle.
Okay.
But yeah, Scoop, you're up there. I'd say the flame is about yay big. You're able to share the crow's nest with it.
Okay. It's like not hot at all.
It
Like,
doesn't feel hot. Like maybe there's a couple waves of heat come from it, but not as hot as how big this flame should be, or how hot this flame should be for its size. I will say also, as you are like all standing on this ethereal material that the ship is like, which makes up the ship's architecture. Or the construction, it gives a little bit. Like you still feel like you're standing on wood, but it gives a little bit. Like there's this little like fuzziness that
spring.
happens
Yeah.
from your. There's a little spring. Like it kind of feels like your feet or your hands all get that kind of tingling, numbing, static sensation just a little bit as you step into it. As long as you're making contact, and you get that just a little before you step in, so it feels like it's giving a little bit. Doesn't feel feels real, but at the same time, it feels not the way real should feel. It's weird.
and put the body in the flame. See if it burns.
You toss the skeletal remains in the flame, and yeah, immediately they ignite and Tamarin and Nakano, you feel a sense of relief, and Tamarin and Misheni, you see as one of the individuals that was pointing to the well, no, not the one that was pointing, but one of the other individuals of like the 8 that are on the deck here sigh and then drift away in a mist.
Oh,
That was good, a scoop.
Let's do it again.
nice.
Do it. Keep doing that.
I mean, I can't keep.
Can we
can't
burn the
keep-
whole damn ship?
Should we?
No, but the skeletal person did throw one of their arms. The one of the ghosts did pour one of their ghostly arms into the dinghy.
Do you want to?
Good place to collect them.
You got the rope, a Scoop? We can lend you a hand.
Can I burn a torch with it?
Yeah, you pull out a torch and light the fire with it, and the fire is no longer in that space. It just kind of attracts your
Ooh.
torch and is now on your torch, and it's no longer there. It's on your torch.
Ethereal
Whoa.
fire. Okay.
Interesting.
I go back down.
Maybe we should look in the cabin. Is burned.
Okay. All right. Let's go. kind of do back to back with you. You going forward, I'll cover the backside.
Okay.
Nothing drawn, but just like hands on.
Yeah,
my
the captain's
weapons
cabin
in
is
case.
locked, but the door is very rotted, or
I
like
could try and open
rotted. Yeah, you can. I would say there's several ways you can go about it. You can try to just like break it open, or you can try to unlock it. It's up to you.
Maybe out of respect, we try to unlock it. And
Yeah.
not just break their shit.
Right.
Okay, Nakana, go ahead and do your lock picking then.
Okay.
Before I go back down there, was there anything up there, or just the flame? That's it.
No, that was it. It was just a crow's
Okay,
nest
okay.
that was kind of dilapidated in the flame. But yeah, if you go back down, you have the flame on your torch. Go ahead, Nakana. What'd you get?
I got a, and it's plus what again?
So
When I roll?
it's plus your proficiency,
Proficient.
plus your
Ooh.
dex. So
Hell
because
yeah.
lock picking is it's just like any
18.
other
Woo.
dex check that you're proficient in. So yeah, 18. Yeah, okay, yeah. You take out your lock picking tools and your spider limbs, and with just a flick of your wrist, this askew, kind of messed up lock, rusted, unlocks, and then you hear like a click and then like a scrape as the actual locking mechanism and door handle mechanism just falls out of the door entirely, and then just disappears into mist,
Whoa.
almost as if it was a good idea to unlock that because it had some intent in it. And then the door just kind of falls on its hinges a little bit and via gravity just sways open on its own.
Okay, who's going in?
I'll go.
It's you, Death Warden.
Oh, that's a good point.
Okay.
I'll go in with you in case we need to dip out real quick. I can make.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
And again, I'll kind of just be at the door, ready to attack.
Cool.
Take care of business if needed.
Scoop, are you just staying out there with the torch?
I'm going down the mast.
Right, I'm saying you've come down the mast. You're done the mast. Doesn't
Oh,
take
okay.
long. You just descend the mast.
I mean, I gotta start burning the thing, so
Okay.
I assume that's probably what I'm gonna do.
Okay, so you want to start going around the ship and gathering the remains and throwing them in the dinghy and like collecting them all in one spot, that type of thing.
I mean, I don't need to collect them. I just burn them, right?
I mean, you
Since it goes.
can. I would say, you know what? Go ahead and roll an insight check for this. I would say either insight or arcana.
Oh, natural one.
Natural one. I mean, like, yeah, you know what? Burning them right, using an ethereal flame to burn the remains of ghosts on a ghost ship made of ethereal wood is a great idea.
Can I?
I start to burn the fucking.
Can I see when I see him start to do that? I'm a scoop. It's all gonna burn. What are you doing?
What are you talking about? It's crazy.
But
As his hand is already like torches down, he's lighting some of the rags of the remains as he's like, "What are you talking about?" And like right behind him, he starts to,
dude,
and he starts to see the fire spread.
we need to put the fire out. Put it out. Come on.
What are you doing? The fire is spreading.
All right.
I could just use sleep.
You gonna use sleet storm?
I'm gonna hear the word
Oh.
fire and come out and help prestidigitize the fire out.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do.
I'll just
Okay, so
Buckets.
what are you doing with the fire? And Tamron's like, "What is happening? Oh, Jesus!" And you see like there's the remains of one
It was a
individual,
good
like, half
idea.
on fire, and it's like spreading onto like the tattered drapery that is next to them, that is starting to light up some of the
Working.
curtain rods along the ship that is then starting to like, and Tamron just hustles out and like trying to prestidigitate and like trying to get the flame. You do succeed. You're gonna need some help though as other people start
mean,
because this is like a ghostly flame. What's up?
I can try to do again the druid. I'll see Tammy doing that, and I'll do the
Sure,
same thing with
and
druid
with
craft and
Undead being your favorite enemy and everything, you get an idea. Okay, I need to change this a little bit to make it like more of an undead flame. It's not like an actual mundane flame. You guys work together over the course of the next like 2 minutes, are able to finally be able to distinguish the flame as both of you are firefighting against that. Yeah, you guys are sweating by the end of it as you turn around and look at a Scoop with this torch still in his hand.
Why? Why does this wood burn so fast? Like,
Don't you know anything about ghost wood? It's highly flammable. Like,
Especially with ghost fire.
right.
ethereal fire.
This ghost is on fire.
Of course I know. That's why I did it. You know.
Okay, maybe next time we
I mean,
could do,
sometimes
like,
it doesn't work though.
Well, maybe we need to do like put all the bodies in the dinghy and then give them like a burial like of the Northmen, you know, like set them away from the main ship, you know.
And then maybe burn the
Yeah, right.
burn it all. But can I just
Not with us on
do
it.
the yeah?
Yeah, let's burn us.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I would say so. Scoop, you can start collecting the bodies if that's the idea, and throwing them in the dinghy and prepping for that. That's gonna take a minute as you have to like collect pieces, and some of them are not all complete. You have to like kind of start scrounging and looking for bits and bobbles of bodies that are around.
I'll
me, sir.
leave my
Excuse
post at
me.
the.
Excuse me.
I'll leave my
Excuse the scoop. Excuse the scoop.
I'll leave my post at the doorway and just help you pick up pieces because now I'm like. I
Sure.
didn't know
So
about-
Scoop and Macheni are doing that while Tamron and Nakano enter the captain's cabin. As both of you cross the threshold into the captain's cabin, you hear that wispy, ethereal, haunting voice on the wind that buffets the ghostly sails. Our lips are pale. Our eyes be still. And those of you that are still on the deck see that all of the still present ghost members are also speaking these words with one voice. May drops of red be well his quill.
Can you say that last thing again?
May drops of red be well his quill. Be well his quill. You enter the captain's cabin. It's what a normal captain cabin would look like. There's archives of books on the side. There's a desk table there with an inkwell. There's an open ledger. There's some quills. There's like a lamp that's unlit and has cobwebs over it. And this is all like kind of ethereal. Some stuff looks less ethereal than other stuff. It's just kind of hodgepodge and mixed around. One of the windows appears to be broken. That is of the bay that looks out into the stern. You can see the remnants of whatever creature claw or whatever that damaged where the name was that descends into one of the windows, and you can see it on the interior as it perforated quite deep.
On the inside, huh?
Yeah, it looks from actually it's a good point that you mentioned that. From this vantage, it's really difficult to tell whether that damage came from the inside or from the outside. Because there's just this hole, this gash of hole that goes from both ways.
I'm gonna look in the desk for like a log or something.
Upon the desk, you actually see
Oh, okay.
that's
Yeah.
open.
I'll just look at that. Particularly like the last few entries.
Sure. Yeah, if you want to try to flip through it. It does look like there are log entries in this. It does look like some of the entries, because this is like ghostly and ethereal, are blurred, almost as if the spirits that reside here only want you to know certain information, or like some secrets to their oath that even extends beyond death should not be shared with others. The information that you are able to gather are as you flip back a few pages, and then if you flip back far enough, like 5 or 6 pages, the rest is just blank or super blurred, and you just can't read any of it. It's very disjointed, so rather than actually like telling you exactly what you read, I'm going to give you the gist of what it is that you understand from there, because otherwise it's going to take a while, and there's just a bunch of words. I would say the kind of air of intent that you're getting from these entries is that there was, an oath of service that they had in order to defend a certain people, or, have war on certain people. And as you're thinking about that, you're a historian. Go ahead and roll a history check. I would say you can roll this at advantage, especially since it has to do with your homeland, and you're an archaeologist. So,
What did you say? History?
history, please.
17.
17. The idea that you're getting from this is that this appears to be one of the ships that was engaged with when the northern southern dynasties were at war for like the longest, for eons they've been at war. And so when the war was still on, before the peace and the treaty that has happened, you know, more contemporarily, more recently, this was one of the ships involved in that war. And it was on of what side this ship was on, you're unclear, but it was an oath to fight and kill the other people of the other dynasty. And they've also almost took arms against you. And most of you, none of you are from the southern dynasty. Some of you are from the northern dynasty. So it could stand to reason that this ship could have come from the southern dynasty, from part of the war, and somehow
also
innately, ghostly recognized you as from the northern dynasty. And
yeah, I was gonna say, how would they know where we're from? We're like a bunch of weird animal people.
Ghosts and shit, man.
Right.
Well, there's a difference between being on the side of something. They could very well be able to see through your transformation form and know what you are. And like, there's definitely something to do with magic and weird stuff when it comes to being between life and death. They get their own insight checks and everything like that. And they, ghosts are very empathic. They're intrinsically attached to the emotion of things and history and the past of what's going on. And that is what gives them form, that like unfinished business. So they probably are innately somewhat connected to that and probably sense that from you. The other thing is you're also sailing a northern ship. So that makes sense too. So, but yes, as far as the other, that's good history. And as you're getting the gist of this ledger, it looks as though the promise was made in blood. All of the blood of everyone aboard made a blood oath. And
Never a good idea.
not only did that, but you're also kind of getting the sense that the only way to break such oath or allow the rest would be with blood. Upon either the entire extermination of the enemy or peace with the enemy, requiring the other side's blood. Either way. And as you like have these realizations and kind of lean your head back as you fall upon that conclusion, the book flips, and that you can hear that ghastly gasp as the pages flip really fast and then open on a blank page where it begins to scrawl in squiggly, ghostly script, an X and then a line.
Mm.
And then above it, which begins to fade into like an X and a line, like a signature line.
Oh, I see.
What begins to fade into above it is two different things begin to fade in and out, like switching between either one of them. One appears to be a declaration of peace, and one appears to be a declaration of like victory of war or death certificate. And the with the wind and the gasp, the quill that is sitting in the inkwell tips over, and the quill kind of flips for a moment of the feather, and the inkwell is empty.
I'm not gonna fill it.
I'm a big machine.
Nakano, you absolutely innately sense that there's some otherworldly entity pleading for peace, pleading to let them go. And Tamron, you understand that's either like, oh, you either like spill enough blood of the enemy here to make it seem like the enemy, which could be like anybody from the Northern Dynasty, to make it seem like they've won their battle, or use still their blood to mark peace.
Okay. So I have the option then to sign the peace document. It looks like, because
if
it's
you
kind
can
of
sign
flopping
it-
back and forth.
If you
We
can
do
sign
it
it
fast
quickly
enough.
enough.
Yeah.
to
Yeah, I'll do
do
that then with my
Okay.
blood.
You're gonna okay. So you
Do you call a scoop and myself into the captain's quarters with all this stuff going on, or are we still picking up dead bodies?
I like the idea that you guys are kind of bantering, and because it's taking a while to find all the pieces of these individuals as they've kind of like moved about throughout the ship. Some have actually fallen into some of the holes of the hold, and you're like reaching down there and grabbing some things. I like how you guys are still doing that while you don't really know what blood oaths these.
I'm
are
just
the
gonna
people
call
you
it. Hey
need to
guys, I'm gonna sign a blood oath. All right.
Sounds good. Oh, found another bone. Great.
Yeah, better than a fire, better than an ethereal zombie fire.
Sounds good.
Nakano, okay, so you are going to bleed yourself into the inkwell then?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. How much would you like to fill the inkwell? How much would you like to cut yourself and hurt yourself and bleed?
I mean, enough to wet the pen.
Okay. You, like, I assume, like, you know, bite your thumb or bite the meat of your hand and try to squeeze it and
Yeah.
and put it into the inkwell with your, you know, Dracosh teeth. And there's a couple drops in there. You think there's probably enough to wet the inkwell. But as you lift or wet the quill, but as you lift the quill to put it into the inkwell with just a couple drops in it, like oil to water, as you pull the quill up, that drips right back into the inkwell.
Maybe I'll just try to sign with my bloody finger.
You put your finger in there and the inkwell sucks
No,
the
I
drop
mean
off,
just like the
drop.
blood on my finger.
Yeah, okay. As you take the blood, you put some blood in your finger and you get it close to the book. Some of it gets sucked off of your finger and sucked into the inkwell. Like, and there's a little bit more.
Maybe it can't be mine. Dynasty.
It's still in the inkwell, however.
Yeah. I guess I'll put a little more in there.
Cool. How much damage would you like to take?
One. Damn it.
I mean, how would you like? How full would you like to make this inkwell? And I'll tell you how much damage.
All right. You know what? Fill the motherfucker. Fill it up.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Nothing like a little bloodletting.
You take 8 points of piercing damage as this inkwell appears to hold a lot more blood than you think it does. As you continue and you feel a little lightheaded as you continue to fill it. You try to fill it all the way, and it only fills half of the way, no matter how much blood you put into it.
Okay, maybe that's enough then. I'll try signing again.
You like oil to water. You also know you're not the only.
Yeah. Nakano, can you
You want
can
me
I
to-
have some blood?
Nakano's not from the Northern Dynasty. Actually, if it's Nakano, a scoop,
I'm from
Misheni.
West.
I'm the only one from the northern.
from
Dynasty.
You know, I guess
Are
you
you
are the. Yeah,
asking-
that's a very good point.
What
Because
about hurt?
well,
You
Hurt didn't
ask
come on
Hurt's
the
not
ship.
on the
my
ship.
blood.
No,
Hurt's on the ship.
that's
So
true.
all right,
but-
so you know things have
Does it
changed.
have to
What
be
I read
somebody
has
from the
changed.
You know how I am with blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have
You
to
love
change what I
blood,
said
I
then
thought.
because you are the
Nakano
only,
loves blood.
you are the
Don't
only
ever
one from the
sign
northern.
things in blood. I'm gonna do it though.
So you are the only one from the Northern Dynasty on the ship. So yeah, you are able to fill it. You do take 8
Oh,
points
great. Okay.
of like damage from it. But you are able to fill it. You are able to put the quill in there, and you are attempting to sign this. When
The peace one.
the peace one pops up. Okay, go ahead and roll a sleight of hand check.
Oh no! Come
See
on.
how quickly you can sign this.
Uh,
Ah! This is an important one.
Oh, here's a femur, a scoop.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Can we
I'm
save
gonna
the head
see
for
if this is
last?
enough, and if it's not, I'm gonna use tides. But I think it might be enough. 13.
13. You begin to sign as the color of the text begins to change halfway through your signature. And blood starts to bleed from the pages as it starts to just as the ship around you begins to shake, and you see the Declaration of Victory begin to scorch into the book as you weren't fast enough.
1 second. There's somebody at my door. Sorry.
Somebody knocks on the captain's door, and you say to the ghost ship, "Hold on, don't bleed and scream just yet. I have to take care of this."
I have to go sign for the other package. Real quick.
Nakana, you see this as the book begins to shake and and scream as it just begins to ooze blood like a river, just out of its seams and from between the pages that just become soaked.
Sorry.
And Tamara just says, "Oh, hold on, time out," to everything, and it just stops bleeding.
Yeah.
You kind of hear the ship
ble-
sigh in
Are you
exasperation.
bleeding?
How many people do you see in this boat? These ghost things?
You got rid of one
Here.
of the 8, so you're picking up the rest of the 7 remains that you can find around the ship.
Did I do it? Was I successful?
It doesn't look like you were
No.
fast enough, as the book is bleeding and the ship is wailing as you're finished signing the Declaration of Victory and war and blood.
What can I use? Tides of Chaos to maybe
You
try
can.
again? Okay.
So you all experience this, and Tamron says, "Hold on," and
Oh wait,
everything
maybe I
stops.
can use a luck point actually. Or no, what are they called? The
Bend.
Ben Luck.
yeah, but isn't it called something different for me? Yeah, no, it is just bend luck.
Is it for you? It's just a D4
Yeah.
though added, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
Do
going
you
to be
want
enough?
Ben Luck?
Let's see.
That's up to you. I think you can use both. If you think Ben Luck adding to it is
Well,
not enough.
let me
then
try
you can-
bend luck, and then we'll see what we'll go for.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a nice 4. So that's
Okay, so that
17
brings
then.
you to a 17. So the book starts to bleed, and then you say, "Wait, hold on," and time stops.
Damn, I'm a time.
Nakano,
lord.
you don't even see what this happened. Time stops.
You have 2 hearts.
And
Gloves.
Tamron goes to the door, closes the door, and says, "Okay, let's try this again." And reopens the door, as if you're saying, "Okay, let's take the scene from the top." And you reopen the door and you walk through and you flip through the book as it's stuck in time, and then you kind of wipe off what it is that you were doing, and then slowly. Time begins to spin up and go backwards as you are about to sign it, and you assume the position of trying to keep catch up to yourself and sync up to yourself as about to sign it, and you realize that you need to start signing it as the Declaration War is there, so you can finish it when the peace is there. And you
I need
do
to have
so.
a quicker signature.
And so you see almost like a glitch in the Matrix, Nakano, that the image of Tamron, almost as a hard cut where they weren't exactly in the same spot. His image and form just kind of stutters for a moment. But you didn't know any of the other things happen. You didn't even know there was a failure. You didn't know anything else, and he just stops time and rewrites it for a moment. And you sign it with your blood, the piece, as it seeps into the page and the rest of the words fade, and you hear as the book slowly closes and the desk devours the book, it just sinks into the desk. Now disgorging from the top of the decks, you hear blink, ding, blink, ding, blink. This sound of this tinky music box sound. That has this eerie melody to it. And by looking at it, this music box is so dilapidated that there's no way that this should be operational. And the pardon me. And in its current state, it chimes out a haunting melody. Apparently, while this is happening, a scoop. You feel and hear your stylophone begin to reverberate the same melody.
Okay, I'll take it out. Look at it. Masheni,
What?
something's happening. Wait, from
Oh.
my style phone? Maybe it's Sertrelli's.
Oh, let me see.
Or, the ghosts around us, as I should say, too.
Right. No, that makes sense. I flip down my ocular lens and I try to kind of just take a closer look at your stylophone as I listen to. This is weird.
Tamron, you know the sound of the stylophone and you hear it coming out from the deck as well as you guys finish throwing the last of the remains into the dinghy. And then they separate. They're not both doing the melody now. His xylophone is harmonizing with the tinky old music box as they create this small, eerie orchestra among themselves. And you hear a voice that kind of goes with the melody. The path you walk, we do not envy. Give rest to Father. Take peace, Mackenzie. As you hear the music box finally wind down and get slower and out of tune as it starts to lose its wind, and as it does, you feel like you're not falling, but you're sinking a little bit. Not the ship, but yourself. As you look down, and there's your feet begin actually sinking into the deck of the ship, as if it's not as corporeal as it once was. You hear this chanting of small children coming about. All of you feel as though the ship is becoming less and less corporeal.
Let's go. We got to
Let's
go.
get out.
Get out of here,
We
guys.
did it.
Leave the bones. Come on.
Do you guys set flame to the bones?
I can do that from the other ship. Just a little.
Well, you have the torch.
Might as well just drop
It's a
torch.
flame that you can't
And then
control.
run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
yeah,
right.
you throw the flame in there as you see one by one as the flames begin to envelop the dinghy itself, and the dinghy, the ropes that it was suspending from, finally snap from the flame and crash into the water and start to drift away from the ship itself. As you find yourself difficulty, as every step that you take is like walking through mud or quicksand. Everybody roll dexterity saving throws as you try to run out of this now sinking in space ghost ship.
So before I did say I was going to try to take a skull before.
You want to take a skull with you?
Well,
I don't know if
yeah.
you should take ghost parts on our ship. I don't like that idea.
Talk about creepy night.
Do you or do you
Yeah.
not take a skull?
I guess not. I was going to use Speak with Dead, but, get a little heavy information.
Okay, you burn it. You guys are
burn
running.
it.
Dexterity saving throw for everybody. What'd you get, Sean?
10.
10.
If I
Machete?
fail, I'm just gonna miss.
Nat 1 for a 9?
Oh no. Nakano.
24.
24. A scoop.
X.
Dex save.
Dexterity saving throw.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. Okay, so Nakano and a Scoop looks at it like Alas poor Yorick and is like, nah, and tosses it into the flame as he turns around and just like bounds across the gangplank to your ship, as does Nakano. You feeling your feet sink into it, you just push yourself up on your limbs and skitter across as fast as you possibly can. Tamron, you try to stabilize yourself as you vault over the desk of the captain's cabin and try to fling open the door as you one of the boards gives way and your foot gets caught in a rotting plank. Then as you fall halfway through and you feel yourself beginning to sink further and further into the hold. Mesheni, you see this and you try to go help him and you also fall and get stuck. And so both of you are like, have your predator hands together, both sinking, stuck in the ship as it begins to now finally list to one side and begin to fall beneath the waves as you are getting stuck within it as well, almost feeling like gooey ectoplasm is around you, but you don't see it. You just see still the ethereal that's becoming to fade becoming less translucent and more transparent and clear and like gone, but you still feel it around you. And you guys are stuck.
Can you get out? I can do the thing where, I jump around, but I can't bring you with me.
I'm good. I got it.
You good?
Yep.
Okay.
What do you guys do?
Misty step.
Misty step.
You can Misty step too, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so both of you grab your hands, look at each other, nod, look at the ship because you can see through the walls because it's becoming so transparent, and go, and both teleport onto the your own ship with your hand still held in a predator handshake together. You're like, yeah, all right, cool spell.
Glad we know that.
And as you see the ship list to the side and the sail finally
I have my
do that whole fabric thing where it slowly falls onto the waves and begins to sink sideways into the tide as the dinghy kind of shifts away and floats still on fire until it gets enveloped by the clouds or the fog. And you see a bunch of wisps like go upward and upward into the fog. Nakana, you feel this exhale that seems like it's being held for years and years and years and years. This one breath that's been held in stale, decrepit, undead lungs for far too long. Finally exhale as a body breathes its last breath and you feel there's finally rest.
Wow.
As the fog then quietly disperses and the sun breaks through the overcast as the rays alight upon the deck of your ship. You feel an immense as you see the part of the moon, of one of the three moons. You see the three moons in the sky, but one of them is easier to see due to their their cycle that they're currently in. You can see part of it. Even in the bright day, you can still see it. And as you look up to it, there's just something in you that has a sense of gratitude. And good job. Well done.
Team.
Oh, man.
All right. Should we put ghost ships on our resume going forward, guys? I mean, I feel like
Ghost hunters.
We're 2 for 2 on ghost ships.
Yeah.
I know. I like this ghost ship better. How's your hand?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
2 for
Oh,
2.
Yeah. All right.
Aren't we 3 for 3?
Was there a third ghost ship?
There was a ghost
wasn't
ship
Captain
that you heard
Avon-
singing at one point,
Yeah.
but it just was. You just said "fuck that" and just let it.
Then we
That
had
sounds
Captain
like
Avery's
us.
ship, then this ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of the day, as you continue, Avery and Hurt kind of look at each other and go they don't say it at the exact same time, but right after the other, with a different speed, so they kind of catch up with each other. Like, that was creepy. That was creepy as fuck. As they both be like, all right, well, let's just continue. She just kind of puts her hand on his face as she's climbed up on the helm, kind of pushes him a foot away. Yeah, let's continue.
Oh, they're cute.
Yeah.
And you, for the rest of the day, have... if there's any of those 9 actions you would like to do for the rest of the day, you may. You continue unabated.
Just short rest.
Yeah, absolutely. You can take your short rest.
I'll fish for the crew
Sure.
because it's
Yeah.
meditative after
And
that.
you have abilities that just automatically let you do that. So you just automatically succeed. You get some fresh fish.
I'm going to patch up. I was going to just use a spell for Tamarin, but
Oh, I just spent it.
I'm like, I'll just kiss your boo boo.
Yeah, so most of you take the rest action then, I suppose.
Okay.
Scoop, I will say that your stylophone has kind of like how some music boxes have those strands of paper with like punch holes in it that that you put them in, like kind of like player's piano, and then they run through the crank, and then it plays a certain song. Your stylophone has a new carving on it because you know it's magical and it creates those kind of synthy sounds through magic.
Yeah.
It's like this wooden stylophone. It has like another carving on it that looks like a pressable button that appears to be like has like burned or scarred or etched into it. That wasn't there before.
Might as well press it.
You press it, and the haunting melody that played from the music box plays on your stylophone, and it continues, and then it ends.
That's cool. Gotta find the
Nakano-
right location for that.
Nakano, as it plays, as a Scoop stylophone plays, you feel the part of you that's half on the other side of the veil feels peaceful and has a bit of a respite for a moment. This song kind of mollifying it.
A therapeutic song. Nice.
If nothing else, then, if you guys aren't taking any of the other actions, you continue the rest of the day.
Okay.
You guys are making great time. You believe after you awake from your rest this evening, you will hopefully arrive in Longdeck by the dawn.
I mean,
Is there
before,
anything else?
I'm
Yeah,
just gonna do a massive
ahead.
sendings. I mean, well, I don't. This will take too much time, so I'll just do it. Prepare everything later, because it'll probably be just information back and forth to Argent Flame.
Yeah,
So let me
you know,
just
so it
create
is
some stuff
the
for that.
Sure. Yeah, we'll count this up into the bunch of just like kind of keeping each other updated as to what's going on, and we'll just kind of all meld it together. Why don't you can go ahead and write some stuff up, and we'll put it in
Yeah.
the Dice of Ages channel of what, like, hey, messages from a Scoop, and then just always tag that or head what it is that you're doing from the messages as far as what date that came through.
Okay.
And then people can actually do the reply thing and actually have certain replies to certain messages there. I would say per 25-word message, use a different like Discord entry so they can reply to each
Yes.
one.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Specifically, makes sense. And then just make sure that you put in the date for each and every sending, and we'll do that.
So-
We'll just cover it here. Yeah. Is there anything like just do very broad strokes for me as far as information?
Yeah. I'm gonna send to Tamarin's dad. Tamarin arriving in a few days. Sorry, Tamarin and crew arriving in a few days.
I don't know if I
Longdeck.
want them to know that though.
No,
'Cause
you don't.
I don't look like me. I don't know how they're gonna react to me being a dragon. I don't know. I don't know.
You guys have
Dad.
this conversation like the Scoop's about to cast a spell, and you're like, should we talk about this first?
Are you worried that they're going to think the college really changed you?
I thought.
Yeah,
I
don't know.
thought he
Did I
already
say it?
knows.
Did they know I'm a lizard? Maybe they do.
I don't think you told him you were a lizard. I think you told him you were okay.
Oh
You
yeah.
asked if, and you were checking in on. Remember, you sent a message there because you saw like that island look like Longdeck. I think you sent a message being like, "Hey guys, are you okay?" And you sent a message to them, if I remember. I don't think. Maybe you didn't.
Also,
I
like I
remember
think
the
I
last
might
time.
have inadvertently killed my
he
cousins.
was contacted because the Scoop
Right.
knows what he looks like because it did succeed one time, and there wasn't a very. It was like, glad you're okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, you don't sound like
He
my
said I love
son.
you? I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
But
You
also,
don't sound
didn't I
like my
like?
son.
I kind of inadvertently killed my cousins, so I don't know if I like want to. Well, I don't know.
I mean, you didn't. You didn't
This is
know,
exactly
though.
what Tamarin's doing. He's like, I don't know. On the ship. It's like having a crisis.
I mean, do you want to say that's? Do you still want to see them? That's be a guise of somebody else?
Yeah, maybe I can be little B. You know.
Will be.
Little
Yeah.
B.
And I'll feel it out. I'll feel it out and I'll tell them who I am if it feels right.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
All right.
So then I guess
blah,
the
blah.
rest of them are just kind of keeping the Argent Flame up to date with what's going on.
Yeah, that's about five spell slots. Or sorry, 4 spell slots.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and just don't forget to write that out as soon as you can. We'll
Yeah.
put that up on the Discord, so those of you who have Discord access can check that out for us.
And then 1 to Hannah. Hey, sorry, didn't get back to you. Ran out of energy.
Is that
Did
it?
you freeze?
Anything else?
It looked like he
or-
froze. No, he just actually froze as a person.
We see a Scoop start blushing because he's messaging.
Just be yourself.
He's like,
Yeah. It's okay. You got this.
Just fought ghosts.
I don't.
hey, sorry to get back to you. Ran out of energy. Just fought ghosts. Anything else?
You should say that you are valiant or something, or where we're heading or something. I don't know. Up to you, but
Heading to
just look a little
Shylong.
flustered.
Say heading to Shylong.
And then thank you.
You hear, okay, you're welcome. Glad you're safe.
Ah, shit, I messed up. I messed
I'm
up.
not sure what else I should say here. Do you need something? Oh wait, right, you can't. And then it cuts off.
I messed up again, guys.
I mean, can you talk back to her? Do you still have enough energy today?
You see
Maybe
in the
you-
background that Hurt is like looking at you guys. You guys see in the background behind the Scoops, Hurt's like making the motion of like a little like flying like, and then Avery next to them when she makes when she makes contact to the deck goes, and they're both like
Oh my God,
pantomiming,
my
crashing and
balls!
burning.
My cannonballs are there.
Am I able to use my points to give somebody else spell slots back? I don't think so, right?
No, that's
Okay.
not a thing. That is something on a class that I am creating right now.
All right.
I
Whole
mean,
new
are you gonna?
Interesting.
What are you gonna do? Are you gonna leave it like that? You gonna leave her hanging, or what do you think?
I gotta write these notes down. You know, like
Yes.
I gotta think of something.
Right.
I'm not a man of words. I'm more a man of action.
All right. Oh, Tammy, do you want to come help us Scoop write a love letter?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Let's do this.
I think about your beautiful
I'm not thinking about
lips every
cicadas.
day.
Let's keep us, please. I'm talking about you, Larna. I'm talking about
We're
you.
trying to be more subtle.
I think she's here, right? On the
Yeah,
ship
you're
still.
like the Tamron is
Larna?
absolutely
No way.
channeling
she's still here. Really?
Larna right now.
She's still here?
I thought she got off the boat.
Yeah, didn't she
somewhere.
leave? She stayed in Sivesh.
I think so.
Did
Yeah. Sure.
Maybe.
Still.
It's such a long time. Especially
Yeah, no,
for
she
one
stayed in
NPC.
Sivesh with Bye Bye, and Salty Mystic
Right,
and everything.
right.
No, she's helping out at your new estate. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
With with Pebbles and what was her name?
That's up. Which one?
You remember her name?
Pebbles, Phoenix. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.
And the one that
Alright.
was pregnant at that one time too. What was her name?
Jin Fushi.
Jin Fushi. Yeah. Yeah, they're all there. So yeah.
Well, don't maybe to Scoop's point. Maybe don't channel the cicada language stuff that you guys. did. Seemed very specific.
Yeah. What are you trying to do here, Scoop? Are you trying to make a friend? You trying to be more than friends? What's your intentions here?
I mean, I went out on a date with her, so I assume more of her friends,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's up to you. It's your feelings, right?
Yeah. Is that what
well,
you
then
want?
Of course. That's why I keep, I guess, messaging her.
I think we need to like
Right?
say.
Yeah.
I think we need to say something along the lines of, you know, you've been thinking about her and that you hope that she's safe and well and
Write it down.
that you miss her.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Maybe what do you miss about her? Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe you miss the conversations you've had.
Right. Or she was a good dancer or something,
Mm.
right?
I'll come up. I'll write some things down in the nighttime. In the journal, maybe.
Maybe it'd be
My
good to
journal.
close on when, like, I can't wait to see you again and, you know, something like that. I don't know.
Captain Avery says, "Tell her that she makes your loins burn like the clap on a long voyage at sea.
That's probably not a
Jesus
good
Christ.
It always worked for me."
Was it on the beautiful islands, Avery, that it worked for you?
I don't have to answer that question.
As a medical professional, I'm now very curious if you're okay with the things down below deck, so to speak. Do you need an exam? Are you okay, Avery?
Do I need an exam?
Yeah, you were
I
talking
don't
about
like
the clap.
tests.
Don't worry. Well, pop quiz.
Pop quiz.
Yep.
I don't have depth perception. Did I pass?
Don't worry about it, Avery.
Okay,
We'll take care of it
perfect.
later.
Great. Yes, I told you, not the best test taker.
No. No.
Great. So, I guess that's what you guys do. Great. And then eventually, after all this talk and rest and continuing on your, you make good time. And you then bed down for the evening. You go to sleep. There's a moment for you, Tamron, as in like, you know, your dream space, as you're having a dream, is you're kind of back there in the spot where you kind of like stopped and rewound time for a moment. And you've done things like this before, but this felt a little more like potent. You had like a moment. You had like a little bit longer than you did before, and you're back there, and you kind of do it again in your dream space. And but this time you actually like see yourself from before, going through the motions. And then your other self doesn't recognize you, doesn't see you, and then you see yourself like start to age and get older and decrepit until like the scales start to fall off and bone starts to be able to see through the gaunt form of your scales. And like a no longer an empty eye socket kind of stares at you from across the room.
Tammy's about to have a midlife crisis.
And it looks like it's saying something, but it's mute, and you can't hear it as all sound stops. And then you wake up. And you awake to the sound of, it looked like your like older self that was decaying and like just having bone that was still standing upright and trying to speak to you was saying something, and then opened their mouth as is to scream, and then you hear a scream come from it, which is, and it just, as it says, "Land ho!" and not your voice, as you wake up and you hear someone above the deck, like on the crow's nests, was saying "Land ho." You all wake and gather aboard the top, and you can see off in the distance, Tamron looks something familiar to you. It's home. The decks are long, the docks are ready, the houses are small, the burrows are warm, the chimneys exude a gray smoke along the horizon, all going in the same direction as the coastal breeze pushes them there. The dawn of the orange sun glances across several of like the orb kind of egg-like looking homes that cast shadows long-wise across the landscape, as you can see it just far enough. It's just close enough to make out some of the detail. And you also see something that you're not familiar with through this. You see another shadow that seems to be like looming over like a good portion of the rest of the town. And then there are regular buildings too, like not egg and orb shape, but just like, regular, just Tudor kind of construction. But something else appears to have casting a shadow, and you try to follow that shadow along the way as your ship is then turning the bend to allow some of the landscape to move, or the hill from one way to get a better look as the full of what's going on. And you see a crane and some scaffolding and stone of something being constructed. It's getting rather tall, not quite yet, but several stories enough to cast a shadow from the lateral dawn sun across maybe a quarter of the town. Some sort of what looks like a stone building, perhaps cylindrical in nature, almost like a single tower of a castle, but larger, being built within the confines of Shylong, kind of on the outside, but also still within, by more people than this town usually has. And then you see the glance of red fabric whipping in the wind. And you recognize the cloaks of the Red Lion Syndicate.
Oh no.
And that's where we're going to end our session.
These motherfuckers.
Shit. Sucks.
Yo, come on. Don't do me like that.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for sticking with us. That was a lot of fun. We'll see you next time. And as always, stay safe out there. And if you're a Patreon on Patreon and you support us, check in. We're going to do gluten talk. We'll talk about this session afterward. But stay tuned and see you next time. Bye.